And we, of course, know that head-on collisions are not new to Arizona. According to the Department of Transportation, the latest numbers show they make up more than 10% of fatal crashes in our state. New tonight, our Operation Safe Roads team is taking a closer look at a different wrong-way crash that happened earlier this month on the I-10. That crash hurt 3 people, including a 2-year-old who was seriously injured. ABC15's Patrick Hayes advocating for the family. But first, we should warn you, some of the images in this story can be graphic.
I couldn't comprehend and the sound of like the hazard lights, and I just knew right there it was really bad.
Taylor Steingold remembers getting a call from her fiancee, Matt Gerwien, after he was hit by a wrong-way driver on the I-10. It happened on May 10th outside of Tucson just before midnight. The crash sent Gerwien, his 2-year-old daughter Adaline, and mother Kathryn to the hospital with serious injuries.
Like, it's not something that you want to think about, and you also don't think it's something that's possible and that could happen to you.
Matthew's sister lives in Mesa and rushed to the hospital in Tucson.
Matthew had a brain bleed. He had an epidural hematoma that was so large in his skull that it caused his brain to shift over, and he pretty much on his left side of his face was completely fractured.
DPS says the wrong-way driver was heading eastbound when he drove through the median and hit Matthew and his family. According to state police, that driver told investigators he reached down to grab a water bottle.
You know, the story's changed a few times, so I don't really want to speak too much on what could have happened until we have the final police report. But when I drove, personally, I went through the mile marker coming home with Matt to San Diego. I could not wrap my head around that, looking at the median and the ditch, and my brain was going so fast, going, how could that even happen?
Taylor tells me she thinks there should have been some kind of barrier, like a guardrail or cement. So we took her concerns to DPS. A spokesperson tells us the median here is wide enough that vehicles should be able to stop. They sent us a statement that reads in part, quote, if ADOT built this stretch of I-10 today, it would be configured the same way, with wide shoulders, rumble strips to catch drivers' attention, and a recovery zone in areas where the median is wide enough to offer one because it is the safest possible design. Taylor disagrees.
I don't think that that's the case at all, because this is our reality right now. And I think that, I hope that this horrible accident could kind of wake up people that think that's enough, because I don't think that that's enough.
Matthew's sister is also a registered nurse and tells us she's seen crashes and worse.
My mom and my brother were wearing their seatbelt and car seats. I've taken care of little babies who have not been in car seats. It is so important to have your children in car seats because that's what saved my niece.
She has multiple brain bleeds still, but they were stable. Surprisingly, she is acting like her silly, cute self, and thank God for that.
The family says that Matthew is starting to walk again, but will need a lot of work to get back to his usual self. His mom, Kathryn, is already at a rehabilitation clinic in Gilbert, working on getting better. The family tells me they hope drivers will pay more attention moving forward. They also hope that the state will take a hard look at adding new safety measures along the I-10, something ABC15 has been covering now for years. For Operation Safe Roads, I'm Patrick Hayes.
Great work.